Hello, fellas. Yikes. That is scary, geezer. God damn. Hey, guys. Everybody doing okay? Hello, Turkey Vulture. I hope I'm not overlapping anybody else's show right now. Let's see what's going on. Just horology. Yeah. Thanks, man. Hello, Bruce.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good.
All good?
Yeah, all good here.
Right on. Busy day on the live streams today?
Yesterday was the busy day.
Yeah.
Today, it was just Bill Sanders.
Yeah.
Twice today.
I never say anything, but I watch the Archie shows most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a tendency to just want to talk shit to the guy, which is just pointless. Like, it's not like he's reading anything. But
yeah. It's even last night. I kind of, after saying hello to everybody, I just backed off and watched all the stuff that was going on. But it's entertaining. It's entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
hey, Turkey, how are you?
Turkey, appreciate that. Yeah, I got no topic. Just wanted to shoot the shit today.
Yeah, I hear you. I saw you tried to go on earlier.
Yeah, and then it's pretty pointless to just. You got to have a bit of a notification.
You do. You do.
Or else, you just sit there. And Thomas came on for a second and just said WTF. And then I was like, all right, let's do this in a bit. We got it's a sunny day. It's cold. It's like -10 at least today, all day.
Oh, wow.
So try to get out a bit and,
Yeah. It's sunny here, and it was in the high 50s. But I just didn't go out, man, because it seems like from like yesterday and now, it seems like we're going to be hitting the peak here in New York this upcoming week. So
yeah,
I wanted to go out, but I just didn't.
Yeah, I hear you.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah. Like usually the Prime Minister has daily press conferences in the morning, and I'll watch some when I can if I'm around for it. But I needed a break from it.
Yeah, I don't even watch. The governor is on at noon here every day. The president's on it around between 5 and 6 every day. I can't I can't watch those. I just I'll check in on my phone every now and again. Hey, Thomas.
Yeah. Hi guys, you right there?
Hello, Thomas.
How's this party? Well? Hi, blue shirt.
Hey, Thomas, how are you?
Yeah, not so bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, a little on the quiet side.
Stuff.
Yeah. I showed my wife a Honey Monster commercial this morning, and she got a hell of a kick out of it.
Very nice.
Tell them about the honey, mommy.
Very nice. No. Geezer said he'll be on in a little while.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, so, Smoke Eater.
You popped up earlier on, didn't you, this bar?
Yeah, that was... I realized if I don't put a bit of a notification on, it's really pointless.
Yeah. So. Yeah, always best to give us a bit of advance warning.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of waited till Bill Sanders was done, but then That's not enough time.
Yeah,
Oh,
just saying
awesome.
hello to all the chat, to Geezer, Smoke Eaters, Turkey Vulture, all the
Yeah,
guys.
Turkey Vulture's going to come on a little bit. He's just having dinner.
Great.
Nice. With one ear pod in, nice.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have dinner probably around 7:00, so I'll have to jump off then. But,
Yeah, no worries.
So there's no ID guy stream tonight, was there? It's taking a break.
yeah, no. He posted something on YouTube saying he was taking the day off, the weekend off. He wanted to get away from watches for a weekend.
Right. Oh, good for
Fair
him.
enough.
Yeah. So
Hey,
can't
Watch
blame him.
Hand.
Orange
That
Hand,
sounds
how are you?
Hi, Orange Hand, buddy. You all right?
And Smoke Eater haven't said hello. Yeah.
Turkey Vulture say you sent an ID guy a wrist shot picture.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff. Getting on the show. I think it'll be next week, won't it?
Yeah.
Right on.
The big reveal.
Yeah. Is he? No, what was it? Who? Oh, that, what's his name? He's one of the Archie guys. Got the Explorer.
Tanzil.
Tanzil?
No, white guy. I watched it.
Oh, Matt Stevens.
Yeah, him.
Oh, Matt Stevens, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he just got an Explorer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice watches.
Yeah. Thank you, Orange Hand. I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Explorer crew around here, aren't you? You got the Explorer blue shirt. Orange Hand's got the Explorer.
How are you? How are you all?
Hi, Geezer.
Hello, Geezer.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
Good. Yeah, just been cooking and been out on my bike for a bit. Yeah, the weather was excellent today.
It's nice, isn't it?
Here in London, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was just telling Flippin that it was nice here too, but I didn't feel like going out. It's just it's going to be a rough week or two here in New York coming up. So
Yeah. As I said earlier, we're supposed to be getting our first peak sometime next week or the week after.
Yeah.
So yeah, things are getting real here in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we might be at the peak right now, which is, it's good for us that it hasn't been too bad. Montreal, I think, is getting hit the worst. And then like it's the old folks' homes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's just devastating them. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of Explorer 2s, I actually found a very interesting watch. Let me send you the link.
Please do.
So it's an Explorer 2 that was issued to the British Reconnaissance Unit back in 2007.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very expensive.
I'm sure.
It's listed at £35,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's about 40 grand US.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thereabouts. It's super cool.
Oh, I don't know if I'm on the right one. It looks right.
Yeah, bring it up on the main screen, Zipper. That's it.
No, that's not the one.
No.
That's not.
What did I do?
That's the sub, isn't it?
No, that's not the one. That's not.
Hey, Watch Habit. How are you?
Hi, Watch Habit. You well, mate?
Yeah. Flipping, do you mind just trying this again? This link works on mine. I think he dropped.
Oh, he did. He'll be back. Thomas, I sent you a couple emails.
Yeah, I
when you get
got
a
those.
chance.
Thanks.
You
Yeah,
did?
they
Okay.
came through. I got them. Got my email sorted out. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Thanks for those.
Yeah, and big respectos to you for last night for doing that for Geezer.
Oh yeah.
You're the man.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Well,
I'm absolutely honored.
one of the boys.
Yeah, that's the one. So it's basically just a standard 16570, but with an engraving on the back.
Wow.
Yeah, and it comes with all the relevant paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
So and obviously I think the engraving was actually done by Rolex themselves. So it wasn't it wasn't like done aftermarket or anything.
Right.
It's there. So if you look at the third image, I think it's got all the paperwork from the.
Oh wow.
And if you look at the card, it's got like special stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a cool Explorer too.
So what's the stamp on the back? Is that for the military corps?
Yeah, no, it's for the reconnaissance unit for the British Army, and I believe that Spartan helmet is just a symbol for that.
Right.
Yeah, it's super cool. I love it.
Their insignia.
Yeah, that is cool. And
apparently, according to Phillips, so this run for the reconnaissance division was not just done with this Explorer 2 16570, but also with the subs 610s as well.
Oh, neat!
I'm sure those will probably will command a lot.
Yeah, pretty penny for sure. Wow. Who knew?
Yeah, I've actually seen one of these before. Phillips listed this. Another dealer in the UK, in London, in fact. I'm not sure if it's the same one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the exact same example here that we have. A dealer in London had had one of these back in the days. I can't remember how much it was charging for it. It definitely wasn't £35,000.
Right.
For sure. But yeah, serious money though.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you say? 35K?
Yeah, 35K sterling.
Wow. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure because when it comes to collectible Rolexes and all that, it's
somebody will take it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. These little stories and
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, me personally, I'd much rather have something like this with a unit's insignia engraved on the back than another Rolex with Tiffany on the dial.
Exactly.
I'd much rather have this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think in the description in the catalog essay it says. 2 Rolex models, some Mariner 611 6610 and the present Explorer 2 were made in limited editions. Yes, cool story.
Very.
I would love to see the sub as well.
Yes.
I've never seen the sub ever. So
very, very neat.
But I am pretty surprised that the unit allowed the owner of this watch to actually sell this.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Yeah, I would have imagined there was some sort of clause where they could not sell the watch or something. But
very cool. Thank you for sharing this with us. Very cool.
Yeah, I was just browsing earlier today and saw this, and I was like, "Oh, this is super cool."
Now, this just for sale, or is it going up for auction?
This is for sale. So straight
okay.
Sale. Yeah. Okay. Price is £35,000. I'm sure you could try to haggle a bit, but
I mean, what are they going to do? Maybe give you £1,000 off?
Exactly. They're not going to budge a lot. especially with these, as they call it, like important examples.
Right.
They're not going to budge much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely love the story, and the whole military connection with Rolex, makes their watches really interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's
Absolutely.
nothing like a military piece. Is a military watch?
Yeah.
They're just great.
Anybody that has like a mil sub collection or just a military watch collection in general would love to have that.
Absolutely, but I mean, you don't even have to talk Rolex. You mean just any military watch is fascinating. It's got a story behind it.
Yep.
Oh wow! So there's the sub version on the screen now.
Oh right, yeah, it's got the same insignia.
That's cool.
Very. Well, it just reinforces that Explorer 2s and subs are tool watches.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watch. Yeah.
Very cool.
Orange Hand says, do you think Rolex engraved the case back, or do you think it was the military? I think it's probably Rolex did it for them.
I think I was told by that dealer it was actually Rolex who did the engravings.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. And I think I was also told, so when they were actually registering the watch, it was specifically assigned to individual soldiers in the unit. So I think everything was very much sort of cross-referenced and all that. I think everything was done very officially. Yeah. So I think it was actually done by Rolex, not the unit themselves.
So Turkey Vulture starts off with wants the Domino's pizza on it, and then he says he likes the Saudi dials. I really like those Saudi dials. They're really nice.
Yeah, Domino's Air Kings are pretty quirky, actually.
Yeah, those Air Kings are nice, aren't they? With the Domino's sign underneath.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Orange Hand is saying a broad arrow on the dial would make it even better. That would be cool.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure. I think broad arrow is Omega's thing, isn't it? Really?
That's an Omega thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys fans of these?
I am.
Yeah. Thomas, I'm sure is.
That's the Radumir 1940s, isn't it?
They've been growing on me. I was never a big Panerai fan, but they're starting to grow on me.
Yeah, I like Panerais.
Yeah, me too.
They look like nothing else.
Yeah.
There's a big strap culture with Panerais as well. So
yeah,
I mean, they're big for Easypo. He can make straps for Panaristes.
Yeah. I had one guy on Instagram, and it's like 24 millimeter. That's an inch wide. Full inch. That's a 24. Yeah. There are some of them. I know they are known to be huge watches, right? Generally,
yeah. They're 47 millimeters, but they have smaller ones.
Yeah. Like I'm starting to realize that a little bit smaller, like 42. I was trying on one of my older ones, and it's 43. And you look at it, and it just seems just a little bit too big. And 42 even seems a little bit big.
Yeah, but it's not always the diameter of the case. The wingspan of the watch, the lug to lug, can make a watch, feel on your wrist and wear a lot smaller. Like the Seiko King Turtle I have, which is 45, and it's a big watch. There's no getting around it, but because it's got a shorter lug to lug, it sits really nice on my wrist.
Yeah.
And wear as well.
I'm wearing a Panerai now, like the one you were just showing.
Yeah.
And it's a little. I could imagine if it was in steel, it'd be a little top heavy, but it's mine's titanium, so it's not too bad. But on a leather strap, I would imagine it's more secure.
Yeah.
Right. You like California dials, guys?
I do.
I love them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to get the California dial one. The only thing is, I tried one on, and it was 47 millimeters, and it's just a little bit too big.
Right.
Just a bit. I'd have loved to get it. It was a hand-wound one.
So this isn't too military, is it? There's no crown protector on there.
Well, they were the original military ones. They were the 1930s watches, I think.
And that's how far they go back, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Italian Navy's underwater demolition unit.
And those early actual military Panerais had Rolex movements in them.
Correct.
And those
these Radimirs would have had Rolex movements in them, the original ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, these are replicas.
Well, these are the modern incarnations ones, yeah. So like, that's an original one, yeah.
Yeah.
And now are California dials? I thought they were kind of more of a promotional thing, just so that you could see decide which you wanted to go with.
Yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing. The salesman took round the samples. I heard. I don't know whether it's true or not. But
then I guess it just caught on. That's cool. Excuse me. Yeah, Panerais. I don't know much about anything in general, so it's fun to check all this stuff out.
Yeah, it's a real shame what's happened to the brand over the last few years, because I have a real soft spot for Panerais as well, because I started collecting watches with Panerais in the days. So I have Panerais will always have like a special place in my heart. But it's really sad to see where the brand is kind of going, and yeah.
Like do they price themselves out of existence for the most part? Because they're not cheap, are they? Like they're quite a ways up there in price, from what I understand.
Yeah, I think they're quite pricey these days. I haven't checked out the prices in recent days, but at least when I first got into Panerais, they were relatively affordable. By no means were they cheap.
No.
I remember I 111 the base Panerai with the ETA movement for, I think, less than £3,000, brand new. Yeah, but I think the cheapest base model Panerai you could get is probably over £5,000 nowadays, if I'm not mistaken. Something along those lines.
But they are making their own movements now.
Yeah, but it kind of backfired with the whole in-house movement thing with Panerai, didn't it? Yeah, they had like that massive scandal with one of the calibers, and yeah.
What happened? What was the scandal?
I think they claimed that it was like some full in-house movement or something like that, and it turned out to be like not true. I can't remember the exact story with that, but I'm sure Thomas or Blue Shirt could add to that.
I mean, that's basically what I heard was that it wasn't completely true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember the details of the story.
Yeah.
Like a modified ETA sort of thing, and then calling it in-house.
Well, they use the aboche, the basement, the base part of the movement wasn't theirs. It was still an ETA, even though they built on top of it.
Mm.
It was something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe Thomas, you know more about that?
No. Well, I just know that they did use ETA movements for a long time, but they're so-called in-house movements now, and mine's one of the in-house P9000 movements they call them, but I don't know what that basically means. And
that P9000 is an automatic caliber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one in the PAM 392, the 42 mil version that I had previously, which I gifted it to a family member. So that was actually a really great watch, the 42 mil Panerai. I know the 42 mil Panerais are not that popular.
Well, they're a lot more wearable, really.
Yeah,
aren't
I loved it. Yeah, because initially I wanted to get the 312, the 44 mil, with the date. But yeah, then I decided to go for the 392 precisely because of the size. Hey, Watch Habit.
Hi, Watch Habit. Wow.
Good. How are you?
Hey, Watch Habit.
Good.
Hey, man.
How are you, Zippo? I'm glad you started the stream.
Oh, glad to do it. Always happy to do.
I hope my internet cooperates today. It's been awful the last probably 3 days, off and on.
Yeah, it's probably because a lot of people are online these days.
Yeah. It was Bill Sanders was having a problem with his connections today.
We're all having a bit of trouble, I think.
I'm wondering if this StreamYard seems pretty stable.
Yeah, it's really clear right now.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna look up some Panerai on Chrono 24, see what shows up.
Sure, why not?
Look at the
we've got a Panerai boutique here, a local one. It's about 30 minutes away.
Look up the PAM 424 so far. Sorry, Watch Habit. Sorry, what was
do you guys know which model is the one that's made out of carbon?
Is it Carbotech? Or
yeah, there's a few. There's the new Mike Horn one was a Carbotech, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm bad enough with Rolex reference numbers. I have no idea about PAM reference numbers. I know which one you're talking about.
I think the Carbotech with the blue accents. I think
that's
a very good watch. Yeah,
that's a sharp-looking watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the 47 mil that I tried on.
You tried
that's the one you tried on?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I tried it on.
How'd you like it?
They were. I loved it. I didn't like the strap that much that it came with, The strap was a bit uncomfortable, but the watch is like super light because it's, Panerais are typically heavier because they're big, but it kind of felt awkward at first because you put it on, you're expecting it to be a heavier watch, and then it's really light on the wrist.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. Like, it's just really nicely finished. The material is really nice, and it really looks good on the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hesitant because, you keep hearing you can get them at like incredible discounts in the secondary market.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I kind of, and the guy at the boutique even, he's like, oh, we've got a thing going on right now for new customers where we can give discounts. And, I think he mentioned 20%.
Okay.
Like,
Wow.
right off the bat, without even negotiating
Have a look at the
anything. He's like,
425 bar.
Pardon?
Try the PAM 425. Sorry, I was just going to say
425.
This is the SLC dial.
Yeah.
It's got the slow speed, so what they call the slow speed torpedo, which is the little military thing that the Navy.
I gotta say, I like.
Rode on the water.
Is this the one where if you buy the watch, you get like a little statue of that torpedo or something? I think there was
sure. I think there
Yeah, wait.
might be one like that, but you'd probably have to pay more for that one.
I gotta say, I like this style more than the California.
Yeah, this is clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Clean, yeah.
Oh yeah, a little submarine down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just at 6 o'clock.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's the torpedo with the guys.
These are all hand wound.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And it's reserved.
Yeah.
Yeah. 9,200 and no, that's probably American, so that's well over 10.
I mean, the 42mm ones, like Geese was talking about, there's one called the 610, the PAM 610, which is a really nice one.
That's
pretty, yeah.
Yeah. It's more my style, more my price.
I've got the wrong one, I think. 620, I think it might be.
Oh yeah, this is 45 on this one.
No, nice. It's got an 8-day power reserve.
And I love those sandwich styles.
Right.
They're great. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
620.
Yeah, here we go. This is a 42mm. It's a micro rotor in the back. This is one of the 1940.
I thought you were in.
Yeah. No thanks.
I really like this one. I was really lusting after this.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's a nice one.
Watch, yeah.
12,000 Canadian, so that's just under 10 US.
It's about 9.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice. The micro rotor is nice. The movement.
Mm.
I don't know why. I love sub-seconds. I know some people can't stand having sub-seconds, like the sub-dial.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I personally like it. I think it was.
Yeah, I like sub-seconds too.
Yeah. And I forget who said it, but especially on the Panerai, with it at the 9 o'clock, kind of, just offsets that big beefy crown guard. Crown casing.
Yeah, balances it out a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
That's a gorgeous dial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the white dials are generally, unpopular between the Panerai fans, but I really like them.
I was going to say they were kind of the unloved stepchildren of Panerai.
Yeah. I didn't think they actually made them.
Yeah, I don't think there are many white dials within the
No.
catalog. I think there are only very few
Not too many, no.
dialed Panerais. It's cool.
Unworn, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I can see myself with one of these.
That's a beautiful watch, no doubt.
It is, yeah.
Thomas, what is the reference on yours? 352.
Yes. Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Polished titanium.
I appreciate the Radiomers. For me, Panerai is basically you need to have those crown guards. Panerais.
Yeah.
It is quintessentially Panerai, right? That design.
Correct.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the fact that it has a bracelet on it, I think, is so cool.
Yeah.
And it's titanium, which is even better.
Yeah.
With a polished bezel. Like,
it makes it a lot more lighter. The titanium makes it a lot lighter to wear.
Yeah.
I really love the dial design of Panerais. You know, it's so simple, but it's so effective. You know, it's so
This one's got a tobacco color dial, which is really nice and sort of off brown.
And then 44 mil, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I actually happen to think when I had my Panerais back in the days, I think they actually don't wear that big. So the 111 reference I had, that was a 44 mil. But I mean, I don't have a particularly big wrist, but I could pull that off. You know, I had no problems wearing that watch. But whereas, you know, when I had my 42 mil offshore chronographs, I had a real problem because of the shape of the key signal, with how they kind of protrude out. As you said earlier, Blue Shirt, you know, it's not the actual measurement of the dial that's important. It's the actual log to log measurement, right? That's affects how it wears.
Yeah, and especially with the offshores and the straps you can't pull them down. You know, they flare out. Even on the bracelets, they have those solid plots.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they flare out. So
these don't look like they're very common.
I think 352 might be discontinued. I think that might be why. Yeah.
Like 6 listings on here. That's nothing. There's everything else has a million listings.
One nice feature I really like is the gold hands.
Oh yeah.
Really
nice and legible,
a bit more dressy.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we see the movement?
It's not a great shot. That might be a little better.
It's got a full rotor.
Yeah.
Is a micro rotor not as effective as a full size?
I think it just enables you to have a slimmer watch and a smaller watch in general.
Okay.
I think in terms of winding efficiency, I don't think there's a real practical difference between the full sized and the micro sized.
It seems like there'd be more micro rotors out there then, but I'm not a watchmaker.
It's harder to do.
It is, eh? Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause you got to pack in the winding mechanism into like a very small real estate within the movement, the whole of the movement. So it's not as easy to implement that.
Yeah. And plus, they're always offset, so there's got to be a reason that it's in the center. Well,
Yeah.
centrifugal force, but I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Can you bring up the PAM 104? Smokey's saying he had one of those.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
With the Cyclops.
There you go.
I like that.
Oh, the earlier versions with the ETS Cyclops, inverted Cyclops.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find some better pictures. I don't want to wait down.
Nice.
There's an iced out version.
Yeah.
Not so nice.
Kind of counterintuitive, eh? Big badass military watch with diamonds.
Blinged out Pam.
That's cool, actually. Trying to find some better pictures here. And that's a decent price.
Mm.
Yeah, 64 Canadian.
Yeah. So $5,000. Less than 5, I guess.
Mm.
Price on request.
That must be like what, 50% of retail? At least, like they've got to be over 10,000 these watches.
Yeah. Pre-owned, yeah, original box.
Yeah, I wonder what retail was on that.
Yeah.
Smoke Eater, do you know what the retail was on this watch?
I mean, it says it was purchased new in 2005 in the description. I'm sure in 2005 it probably was nowhere near 10,000.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, back then. Because but back in those days, Panerais were a lot cheaper than they are now. I mean, even when I purchased my PAM 111 back in 2012, I think, so about 8 years ago. Yeah, it was on less than £3,000 retail.
Wow.
Did they spike their prices up at one point?
Yeah, I think they have. Yeah, probably. I think around 2015. So when they started to really push their in-house movements and all, and these are really fancy materials like carbon and all that. I think that's when they really try to sort of upscale their watches. I mean, of course, these are luxury watches, but they're sort of moving into like a different territory. Or at least they were attempting to. And I think that's when they had like a significant price increase across the whole.
Yeah, the whole range seems to have gone through a massive price increase.
Yeah, I mean, Smokey's is saying he paid
Carotech.
Carotech?
Yeah.
4,500 US 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Used.
Yeah, it was, yeah. The market was completely different for Panerais back then.
And what is that case made of then?
Carbon,
just carbon, I think.
Carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Carbon fiber,
yeah.
Case material doesn't say.
The that one with the blue accents that you were talking about earlier. That one is cool. It's cool looking.
Yeah.
But that was like 14 and change US.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Yeah. Very expensive, yeah.
Yeah. 20,000 Canadian. Oh.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
No, I've already watched with the
we got to go.
Oh, sorry.
Experience something.
I'm having a hard time hearing.
Yeah, Thomas, you're breaking up.
Am I? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Now we can hear you.
Yeah. I think that was experience. That's why it costs so much.
Yeah. The only thing about these, technical materials, these synthetic materials, is that if you were to like chip the case,
right, you're screwed.
You're pretty much screwed. Yeah, you got to replace the whole case because you can't really polish the dents out, right? With these. So
yeah,
that's the only, I guess, downside with these. Because a friend of mine had the AP carbon diver with those yellow accents, and he managed to chip his case. And he had to send it back to AP, and they basically said you got to get the whole case replaced. And as you can imagine, it wasn't cheap. It really wasn't.
I'm surprised that they don't just do that sort of thing for next to nothing. If you bought it in the first place,
yeah.
I mean, that's no way. Nobody's doing that, but it's not like if you buy a Mercedes and get a scratch, they're replaced. But
I think with the AP offshore Grand Prix, there's like a limited edition. They had like a real problem with their bezel, so a lot of people were sending the watches back in because I don't know, because obviously with the bezel you got to drill the holes and stuff, right? So I think in terms of the structural integrity, if you will, of the bezel, I think there was a real issue with that model. So I think what AP eventually did was, if you had any sort of flaws or any cracks or something with that bezel, the carbon bezel, they will replace it with a ceramic one for free. At least for that, they offered some sort of free replacement.
That's something, at least.
Yeah.
And then what is it that's got it's some ridiculous thing that I saw on like producer Michael, that it's got the rubber bezel on it?
Yeah, it's the offshore rubber clad.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a standard 42 mil offshore chronos. They're discontinued now. But yeah, there was like a steel version with the rubber bezel, and there was the gold version with the rubber bezel.
Now, why is this thing $202,000?
Oh,
wow!
Yeah, it's probably got like.
Never heard of that one. Sorry, I'm just trying to read up on any of this.
Have you guys seen Panerai pocket watches?
No, I haven't.
They did a few pocket watches a few years ago with like tourbillons and stuff. Those were super cool.
Neat.
Yeah, some of these.
Wow. 127,000.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And are these just all handmade and?
Probably, yeah.
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 That looks
For
like a fairly
$113,000, I should hope so.
better be, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's wild.
Yeah.
There was somebody on Reddit trying to trade a Patek pocket watch with like a Tiffany dial on it or something. And I don't know if it was a big hoax or what the hell it was, but just trying to trade for pretty much any Rolex they could get. And then everybody writing the guy, you know, would reply to it saying like, you don't know what you're doing, you're an idiot. And he was just insistent that it was worthless and he just wanted a Rolex for it. I don't know what came of it, but it's weird. Could have been April 1st, actually, now that I'm thinking on it. That could definitely have happened. Well, I'm going to see if the Rolex I want is on here.
Okay, cool. Set the date just 41.
Yep.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful watch. Yeah.
The one there.
Classic.
Yeah, that's the one.
Very.
That's the Zippo watch, isn't it? Look at that. Beautiful.
I've kind of come to the conclusion that I'm not so particular on like a dive watch or a GMT.
Mm-hmm.
I just like a casual, goes with anything. Like I wear jeans and t-shirt. I don't own a suit, so
that can be your one and done right there.
Yeah, it really could be. And then play with whatever you want after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that watch will pretty much do anything you want it to do.
Yeah.
And you can put this on any kind of strap, any kind of bracelet. You know, if you get bored of the Jubilee, you know, you could always try to source an oyster bracelet and just slap it on.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It could be very versatile, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You put it on a leather strap, you could make it yourself, you could have it on a NATO, you could do all sorts with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just seems like one can't go wrong with that.
No, you can't.
Like it's simple, it's, you know.
I know it's such a small detail, but I love these Rolex models with the applied Rolex coronet at 12. So Daytonas, Datejust with the applied logo at 12. I love that.
Yep. No,
And
completely
just
agree.
The way the rhodium dial blends in with the color of the steel is really makes it more versatile.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference, Zippo, with the smooth or smooth bezel or fluted?
I want the smooth. Just because I don't want it to look too much like a blingy dress watch. Even with a Jubilee on it, I don't want it to look too much like
Yeah, no, it definitely it sportens it up quite a bit with a smooth bezel. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think smooth was so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
And it's nice because it's water resistant, and like Thomas was saying, Blue Shirt was saying, you can take it anywhere. You can swim with it. You can play sports. Like it's very rugged for a watch. So you really don't, you don't need. I would say this is probably just as rugged as a GMT.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's a fine choice.
Thank you. And yeah, like it could very well end up being the one and done.
Yeah.
Like as far, unless I wanted to get serious and go with something real expensive, but that would be a ways down the road anyways.
Would you have to sell the Speedy, do you reckon, Zipper?
Pardon me?
Would you have to sell the Speedy, do you reckon?
No, I think I'd want to keep it for sure.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. It's I love this one. And this one kind of inspired me to go with this. I really like the bracelet on this one. Like a little bit bigger size would be nice. This one's 41, so the rhodium, I love rhodium. That just goes with anything.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful color, yeah.
Yeah. And I've realized I don't have anything with just a black dial on it.
Yeah.
I've got green, blue, rhodium, more rhodium. Throw more rhodium. And yeah, 12K. And then I'd imagine I could, find somewhere, get a better price than that.
Yeah, Smoke Eater just saying in the comments, you can get that for just over 9,000 Canadian in an AZ.
Mm.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, 9,300 Canadian.
Smoke Eater, was you saying to go see somebody at J Bear? Dylan, I think it was. Somebody gave me a name to go see a guy in Calgary. They're obviously closed now. Yeah, Dylan at J Bear. But I forget who told me about that guy. So.
Oh, I think just like another kind of scenario, just to put it out there. I think with Datejusts and like day dates and stuff, if I'm not mistaken, Rolex actually you can take them into service centers and ask them to swap out the dials. So if you were to say buy like Datejust with, I don't know, like a black dial or something like that, and take it into the service center, and then I think they'll swap it out for other colors. Obviously,
Really?
Yeah, I think you'd have to pay, and they're not going to give you back the original dial, so they'll on like a replacement basis. I think you can do that if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
There's some models, not all. So obviously, you're not going to be able to sort of go in with your sub and ask them to change to like a green one or anything like that. But if I'm not mistaken, I've heard of stories with Datejusts and day dates where that was possible.
Yeah, you used to be able to supposedly, take a black dial Explorer 2 and change it to a Polar and vice versa.
Yeah,
but you can't do that anymore.
No. Even at AP, when I had my 15400 SD, I don't know if they still do that, but back in the days, you could actually hold files at service centers for APs. So say if you had like a silver 15400 SD and you want a black one, you could take it into like an AP service center, and they would just swap it out for you into like black. I don't think they did for blue. So, but between black and silver, I think they allowed that, because obviously blue was like a boutique only and all.
Right.
I'm not sure if they still allow that. Probably not, given how kind of douchey they've become. But
what's beautiful is the 15500, the movement.
Yeah,
the new in-house movement that AP has.
Oh yeah,
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's more appropriately sized for the case, because the caliber 3120 or in 15400, that was way too small for the case.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful movement for sure, and it's it's one of the best three-hander movements out there. It's way too small and way too outdated for 15400.
Mm-hmm.
having said that, I still prefer the rotor on the caliber 3120 because it's got that Audemars Piguet family coat of arms all engraved on the rotor, whereas the new 15500 it's just got like an AP right on the rotor.
Yeah.
It's a bit plain.
Thank you, Smoke Eater. That is much appreciated.
Yeah. And obviously, with the 15202s with the jumbos, you actually get the rotors customized officially by AP. So you could have your initials and
That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like £2,000 for that service or something. But you know,
Wow,
I think it's worth it.
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Is that this one?
No, it's 15202.
15202. Okay.
So if I were to ever buy like another AP, I mean 15202 is probably the only one I would consider. I mean, I'm kind of done with AP now. I've had a few, and but the only problem I had with this watch, actually back in 2013, when I bought the 15400, I was actually debating between 15202 and 15400 because obviously, retrospectively speaking, it was stupid not to go with the jumbo. But back then, jumbos were quite readily available as well. But the two things that really put me off this watch, one is the lack of second hand. It's a two-hander, right? So you can't actually see the watch kind of running from the dial. Right. And it doesn't have the screw-in crown. So that was like a real problem for me. I mean, it's just a beautiful watch that's kind of like a real kind of tribute to the original 5402. That's why they've kept the kind of just the standard non-screw-in crown and all that, and obviously they still use the same caliber in this modern iteration of the jumbo, but I don't know, it just looked a bit dead, let's put it that way. And also in terms of practicality, you're not having the screw-in crown, and it's supposed to be a sports watch. It just didn't really make sense to me.
It's definitely more fragile. I mean, there's no beating around the bush about it.
That's precisely the reason why with the Tex, as much as I used to like the 5712, the Nautilus with the moon face, it's one of those watches that's like really confusing for me. I mean, it's supposed to be, yes, it's not like super rugged sports watch, but it's still a sports watch, right? So you want to be able to swim with it, have a shower with it, but with the 5712 as well, it's the water resistance rating on that is only 60 meters. For a sports watch, for me, it just doesn't make sense.
Guys, listen, my dinner is coming out, so I'm gonna take my leave. Great talking to all you guys, and we'll see you. See you later, and tomorrow, Zippo,
tomorrow
2 o'clock.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. See you then, guys.
Enjoy dinner.
Thanks.
Orange Man can jump on.
Yeah.
Great. Orange Man, jump on, buddy.
Oh, I gotta get the right thing here.
I mean, the version of Jumbo I really like. The version that we have on the screen now is obviously a classic, but another version I really like is the 15202 IP, the platinum and the titanium version. That was also gorgeous.
Yeah, I was invited to. I can't remember when it was. Now. It was like for the 2019 release for Patek. They did like an invitation to show off the release.
Sure.
And I tried on the 5740.
Oh, yes.
Perpetual calendar Nautilus.
Yeah.
And to your point, like you look at it, you're thinking, okay, it's a sports watch, but the movement, the dial, the complication, I mean, it's really a dress watch, and the fact that it's made out of white gold.
Yeah.
But like when I put it on, that thing is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I know Nautilus is hyped up, and there's a lot of people that.
What was the number on that one?
5740.
It's the Perpetual Calendar Nautilus.
Yeah, and it's got the 240 movement with the micro rotor, which is their classic movement, and it's ultra thin.
Yeah, I've seen and I've seen one of these in person as well. I'm just not a big fan of this. I mean, I think for me, the only Nautilus, for me, like the only Nautilus I really like is the 5711, because I think that watch just makes sense. You know, it's a sports watch that's kind of true to its form, and it's functional, it's practical. And I mean, the reason why I don't, just going back to 5712, another reason why I'm not like just from pure design standpoint, it's a beautiful watch. But as I was saying, it's a bit confusing in the sense that it's supposed to be a sports watch, but it's not that water resistant, and it's got like for you to adjust the dates and the moon phases, you still got to use the stylus, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make really sense to me, because it's supposed to.
Geezer, how different is that than the AP 15400? I mean, it's down the ground, but it's also 50 meters.
Yeah, exactly. For me, just it just didn't. Even the EP as well. It just didn't really make sense to me. Eventually,
Yeah.
I mean that's why I got rid of it. Sure.
It's I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's way. I mean, I would have to sell every watch I own to even think about buying it. It's way beyond anything I could afford. But I'm surprised. When you pulled up the 5740, it's going for 300,000 Canadian. That watch is 110,000.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's probably going for a lot more than retail, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. All of these Nautilus models go for crazy premium still.
Crazy, like anyone that would pay that amount.
But yeah, it was a lot of money, wasn't it? 300,000.
Yeah. I think we've got Orange Hand here.
Yeah,
hello, Orange Hand.
Sorry.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Welcome.
Good. How you doing?
How are you?
Hanging in there,
Great to see you again.
Good.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
Are you ready to show off any more of your watches to us?
I don't know if, honestly, I think I had Wi-Fi issues the last time I tried to show any video. And you guys have seen my watches already, haven't you? On ID Guy, I've pretty much shown every watch I have.
You've got one of the chronographs, haven't you? Or was it a chronograph or is it a three-hander?
No, it's a chronograph. It's actually the 3-register version of the Andretti, the Yema Andretti chronograph.
Yeah.
So called. It's the Rallygraph Super, the version that I have. The 3 register is called the Rallygraph Super. The 2 register is is just called the Rally, and that's the Andretti.
Right.
Yeah. Mine, it's got it's marked Amaryllis on the dial, which is it was like a private label name that they used in the Italian market, which is kind of it's bizarre. I've only seen 2. I've only found one other one that was marked Amaryllis. Andretti's was marked Wesley on the dial.
I'm gonna see if I can find anything on that.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff out there now about Andretti's Yema, and it's kind of funny because when Hodinkee did their talking watches with Andretti, they never mentioned it once.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so there's a little bit of controversy around that. Just given Hodinkee's pretty connected to Hoyer and to other brands, and so there's some thought that maybe they kind of left it out just because of
They
that.
recently revived, haven't they? Sort of, Yema, haven't they?
Yeah, they're a bit of a Phoenix brand. I think they were bought by
Yeah.
Seiko at one point, and then they came back and are French owned once again. But they've always been they've I think had been in continuous production since they were launched in the 40s, in the late 40s in France. Yeah, so that's
Blow in is something.
That's a reissue that you've got there. That's not a
Hi,
vintage.
Ness.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were
mate.
looking at these yesterday, so
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to find the vintage, I would type in vintage maybe, or something. There's one. It says vintage down below, but yeah, I want to look down at vintage or Rally Graph. Will pull up the one that I've got. Rally Graph or Rally Graph Super.
Yamagraph. One result. If this might be the one.
Yeah, that's the Rally, the 2 register version. Mine's the same. It's got the hour register at the bottom.
Okay.
They're actually
there's
quite
another
rare.
one. Yeah, I don't think there's another one on here.
Yeah.
Rally
Sometimes
Graph
if you look up an
Super.
interesting model is the Yema Brown Sugar chronograph. It's actually very cool. It's a version of this, but it's got a different colorway. It really sweet. There you go. So that's that looks like an original for 10K. Yeah, that would be a vintage version.
That's interesting.
Yeah, some of the original Rallygraph Supers came with Valjoux 72s in them, so the same as the old Daytonas.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I've got is just a Valjoux 7736. That would be with the date. I think that's a 7734 or something. I don't know what it is with the date. Yeah. Yeah, really cool watches. I sort of let watches find me versus go looking for them, and found that in a shop and here in Ottawa, and did a little bit of research on the back end, and then kind of went back in and picked it up for a steal. Nice. It was like a just over 1,000 Canadian.
Good find.
Wow. There are some very similar Breitlings that have very, very similar dials, but a cushion case. So the Breitling Datora, and it has the same 7734 movement as this, or Datora, or whatever it's called. Here I can put it in the private chat. Oops. Wait, sorry. Yep.
Okay.
They're very similar.
Okay. Yeah, I love that 70s aesthetic.
Yeah. I like some of these older Yemas. I really like cushion cases, but it's nice to see those that kind of dial also in a circular case.
Yeah. So I mean, the version that I've got, it looks really reminiscent to a like an early Speedmaster case, like a CK2998 case with the straight lugs, and it's actually a very similar size. Like 39 mils and 19 kind of between the lugs.
I'll send you a link. There's some other ones that were branded Breitling where they probably didn't build them themselves. Probably in like I put the link. You know, at some point, Breitling was not doing so well, so they were getting stuff kind of like built by others, I would think.
I love the CK2998. It's probably my favorite Speedmaster.
Oh yeah, they're
Apart
gorgeous.
from the trilogy ones.
Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah, and then that Mark II that I found. Oh, that's cool. That Breitling there, the surfboard.
Yeah, I think there's blue and black, right? There's a black version and then there's a blue version, Thomas. I like the
blue version. The black one's really good because it's got a pulsation dial on it. There's pulsation meter on the instead of a tachymeter bezel.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the blue dials and the blue strap. That's what really sells it to me. Rather than it being the black one.
No, this is a very funky watch. Very nice.
I haven't heard Smoke Eater. I don't know. I know what you're referring to, and I'm afraid to go Google that.
Heard of what? Your favorite?
Yeah.
Here we go, Zippo.
Yeah, it's not cooperating.
Off screen.
Oh.
Oh, that's nice.
Very nice.
Oh, that's
cool.
Cool.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of the conversation. Is that a vintage or?
Yeah, that's a vintage.
It's a reissue, isn't it? Or is it a vintage or in hand?
No, this is original. This is 1969.
Oh, beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah, like that case is super sharp. And
wow.
You can see the hands, everything's original. I mean, the hands are losing some paint around the sub-register hands. You can see some of the paint's chipped off there. And then the center hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would have been original.
Really nice.
And the bezel is the part that really just blew me away because it's just so clean.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Very sharp.
Yeah. So this was just sitting in a little shop. The watchmaker apparently had passed away like about a week or two before I went in there, and his daughter took over the shop. And she said this was one of the last watches he worked on. So it was quite emotional for her when she sold it to me. But yeah, it was kind of a neat experience. I guess my video is working, so I can show you. Here, I'll grab the this guy here. This is a cool one also.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's the Speedmaster Mark II.
Yeah, so this is the one that I sent into IT Guy.
Hand.
Yeah, and so I found this one at a little mom and pop jewelry shop, just on for folks who know Ottawa, Spark Street here in Ottawa.
Sure.
Kind of, just a little store that really doesn't sell watches at all, and they had this in their estate section, and they had it for like a year, and I was kind of debating on it, and I didn't really know. I mean, buying vintage is a little scary sometimes, and they were asking, I think they were asking like $4K for it approximately. So I kind of laid off, and I hummed and hawed on it, and but it stayed around there for like a year, and then finally I just I think I went in maybe 2 more times to take a look at it, and then I looked at it under a loop, and my mind was completely blown, and I just went, okay, I'll just give it to me. So I made a low ball offer, and they actually took it. I kind of said, look, I know it's been around here, you haven't sold it.
Yeah.
Will you take 3 for it? And they said, yeah.
Is that are we talking Canadian dollars or
Canadian dollars?
Oof. Yeah.
Canadian dollars.
3 Canadian. Wow.
Yeah, so that's about like 2.2 or something, 2.3,
Yeah,
2,300
that's,
US.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, and it is immaculate. It's got the tritium dial, and you. I wish I could zoom, but if you look at the video on ID Guy, it's got the tritium dial. So some of these dials were replaced, but you can tell just because they don't have the T for tritium.
Yeah.
And all the handset it just matches perfect. It's so clean. The case is sharp. The still has the brushing, the radial brushing on the top of the case, and the polished edge. Like it's great. The only thing that's wrong with it is that it's the clasp on the original bracelet is just a some replacement piece. But I ordered a clasp from Omega, so that'll do the trick.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you get the box and papers and all the accessories with the watch as well? Or?
Yeah. So, anyways, like I said, I like to let the watches find me, and if I find something that's catches my attention, I go for it. Do a little research and.
I think you dropped when Geezer asked you, was that box and papers or just a watch?
Oh no box and papers. No,
okay.
No, really hard to find them with box and papers.
Mm.
You got a very good deal anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's as you were saying the price. I was thinking, once this is all over, I'm going to get into the car and go shopping in Ottawa because I don't see that here. So.
I think it's if you start looking in jewelry stores and just places that not your typical watch sellers, right? Mm-hmm. So that's at least it worked out for me that way. The last here maybe I'll show you one last one. This one's kind of interesting. This is the first vintage piece I ever bought. Let me see here.
I've never had any luck looking in just a little jewelry store for. Never found anything.
Doctor, right?
Yeah, so this is a Doxa. I got this for $300.
Bezel.
300. Oh, wow.
Yeah, 300 Canadian in Toronto. I was there for work, and I just gotten into watches, and I had like a meeting, and I was I decided to kind of just Google like vintage watches, and I found this little it was more of like a repair shop, but they had a couple of watches in a case, and they had this there, and the guy said it was NOS, right? So it had the hang tag, hanging off of it, and it was just the watch head,
New old
and so I Googled it, right? Because I'd heard of Doxa, I knew Doxa, but just for the dive watches. Yeah. So I Googled it, and I found a picture of one that looked like it, and I think it said it was $700. Someone was selling it for $1,000. So I picked it up just on it was like $300. I thought, okay, sure, it's like brand new, unworn. And then I did a little bit more digging, and I found this. I found here, just one sec. So I found the original ad for it, and the interesting thing about it, the interesting thing about it is, if you look at the ad, this comes from a Swiss magazine, like a watch trade publication from the 60s, and it was a 1968 magazine, and this ad talks about the fact that it's promoting the watch to retailers, and it talks about how if you have if you're selling this watch as a retailer, you would be able to put this picture of famed F1 driver Jim Clark up in the display. And the interesting thing that I found is that this ad is from 1967, I believe, and the Jim Clark died in 1968.
Sure.
And so there's hardly any of these watches around, and I kind of wonder, like, is this just like a watch that was never really made or never really sold in great numbers because of that? Or, you know, it was kind of a bit of a mystery. It was neat anyways. Yeah. So
wow. And you found one in new old stock condition. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's new old stock.
That lovely checkered sort of racing minute track it's got.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I mean, I wound it up, and the thing, it keeps great time, you know, for a 50-year-old watch that just, you know, sat there unused for all of that time. It keeps amazing time.
Yeah, that's such a cool story, and it's such a cool story, and it's so cool because that's a watch line that Doxa kind of abandoned, right? They're more dressy watches, so it's so cool to have one in that good of a condition and with that story behind it. That's really, really cool, and at that price, right? I mean, come on, that's in Canadian dollars, so you paid less than like a System 51. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
that was a bargain, absolute bargain.
Like NS says, it was one of the end of the line of that sort of range, you know, that dress range that they did.
Howdy, Chi-Town, California. How are you doing, man?
Hi, Chi-Town, you're right.
Yeah. Hi, and hi to Robert as well.
Yeah, hi, Robert.
We were kind of talking earlier about how like cross collectability, and that's a prime example right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people have done a lot of articles on Jim Clark's watches as well, right? Like he wore Galets and Anycar chronographs, and so Jim Clark's a really prominent figure, and that's what kind of struck me as so weird about this watch is that you can't find it anywhere. Like you can Google it, and you'll find a picture or two online, but no one's written about it. No one's they're nowhere to be found. If you want to buy one, like, I mean, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they didn't promote them because he died.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe they just didn't get released. I do know that a box of, I'm pretty sure where this watch came from because I found an auction, a link to an auction site that had been selling, like they had a whole box of these watches unworn, just the watch heads with the hang tags. And so I'm pretty sure that someone bought that box and then just started, you know, selling them out to different dealers, or who knows what they did with them. But it looks like someone got a hold of a whole box that was found somewhere and auctioned it off.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyhow, those are my three vintage pieces, and then I just have the Explorer 2 as well.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Anyhow. Yeah, that's those are
so
cool.
You're wearing the Explorer 2 now?
I am. Yeah, I never take it off.
Orange hand.
Which Explorer do you have?
I've got the modern 216570.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. The
Robert Padilla's saying sorry. Whatever it is, I don't actually know how to pronounce it. The Cart Omega Speedmaster. I gotta ask what that is. Cart Omega Speedmaster.
Yeah, well, we were actually talking about Explorer 2s earlier, because I found like really like an interesting example of a 16570 Explorer 2 that was made for the British Reconnaissance Unit, and Philips in London are selling the particular example for £35,000. So yeah.
It's got to be the most expensive Explorer 2 out there. That's not a 1655.
No, it's 16570. So,
yeah.
But you know, it's got a great story, great provenance, and all. So I mean, I'm sure it will be very collectible down the line. So, well, 35,000 just seems a bit steep.
Yeah, especially in this market.
Yeah.
Right. It's. I think you have to. I think people have to reevaluate some of those prices. It's like that. I don't know if you saw the Roman Sharp video where that guy that's the big Rolex and Patek dealer collector that Roman interviewed a couple of times. I forget his name.
Is he the Bob guy? Is his name like Bob something? But is he that vintage dealer?
Yeah, he is. He's the guy that has all those old like Pateks and
Interestingly, I think that guy, I think is the guy who had like this massive dispute with John Mayer before. Because I think,
really?
Yeah, I think John Mayer filed a lawsuit against him for selling like a fake Patek or something, a fake Rolex or fake Patek.
Bob Marin.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. But Bob Marin, when one of the last videos, I think from last year, he talked with Roman Sharp and he was talking about who bought that Patek at the Only Watch auction, right? That 31 million or 35, whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
And he said it's like this Chinese guy who's buying these really high value assets.
Yeah.
With the idea of reselling them later, and
Yeah, no, that's what I've heard as well. Apparently, the guy who bought the Patek, he's not like a watch collector or anything. So he just buys these collectible art pieces, or collectible watches, as a like a pure investment.
Yeah, and they were saying like within 4 or 5 years it's going to hit the market again. I was thinking, in this market, you might have to keep it for a few more years.
So this model up here that is Robert Padilla asked us to bring up, is this a Schumacher dial?
No, it's the cart is the Indy racing, like the Indianapolis 500. Yeah, at some point there was a dispute between some teams and some chassis manufacturers, and they split up. There were 2 series. I know for if you're, especially for Europeans, but if you're into car racing, it's weird to think that the kart series would be something other than actual karts. But there was like a full size car series called the kart series.
Ah, right, okay. Not
So
just go-karts then.
No, not like everywhere else in the world, like kart. Well, even in the U.S., right? Kart is karts, but there was like a series of, I guess it's Indianapolis. I don't know what the Formula equivalent would be, like Formula 3, I guess, or something, right?
Right.
Right.
So there was so that's a kart dial. You can see it at the bottom of the dial where the 12-hour or
6 o'clock. Yeah.
Right, that's an interesting watch, Robert. I think if you really like a watch like that, a lot of those automotive branded watches like lose a lot of money. They're not that desirable. So if you can get like a really cool deal and you actually like that watch, it can be a really cool deal.
I think even the Schumacher Speedmasters, you can pick them up for like really, really good prices, right?
Yeah, they really don't do that well. Isn't there? I think there's one exception. I don't know if it's like one of the.
There's a red, blue, yellow dial Schumachers.
Yeah. I think even the Panerai, I think the Ferrari Panerais are still doing pretty good, right? Or they also
they do terrible.
They do terrible.
Panerais,
yeah.
I don't know if any watch that. I mean, the Amvox doesn't do terrible, but it's not like they're selling above MSRP either. So, yeah.
And Breitling have done the Breitling for Bentley, haven't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Hublot did quite a few editions for Ferrari.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but they look just the same as any other Hublots, just with like a little, you know, horse at like. That's the only difference.
Oh, you're breaking up there.
And then you also had the Parmigiani Bugatti ones.
Oh yes,
They're like insanely expensive, and you could put it in the car,
yeah.
right? I think you could mount it on the dashboard. It's like,
Yeah, I think when Bugatti launched the Veyrons, yeah, they did something with Parmigiani. I think with the latest vehicles, they did something with Jacob and Co. Right? Those are double ones, and
yeah, I think they did it with somebody else, but it looked similar. Like still looked kind of like an engine. But I remember that the Parmigiani one, for the really expensive one, you had to be a Bugatti owner to be able to buy it. But it was so expensive. I don't even think Bugatti owners bought them. I think that was a way to not make too many.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, I just found this article of John Mayer and Bob Marin.
This is
Really?
the watch they were fighting about?
I think he was sold like a fake Daytona or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think what I had heard is that some of the parts that were in the movement had been replaced. Like it wasn't an entirely fake watch or anything, but they opened it up and there was a wheel or something that wasn't original, or somewhere along the line the watch got molested.
Yeah, that's the thing. When it comes to these really collectible vintage watches, every single part matters, right? So
yeah.
Like it was literally like a small screw can make a difference in the pricing of a watch. When you're talking the really rare, say 6263, Daytona or something. Every little part really makes a difference. So. I don't know why they have that platinum.
Yeah.
Orange Hand, have you had your eye on any watches? Have you seen any nice things online recently?
Well, mostly stuff I can't afford. But that new AP Remaster 01.
Oh yeah,
I've been dreaming about that. I can tell you that.
Quite nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like what they should have done instead of the 1159. Like that was the watch.
Just not at that price, honestly. I think that's.
What, 60 grand US?
Yeah.
I think it's 50. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it's too much for what it is. Once you get to that point, it's especially for a launch, right? Like a product launch.
Yeah.
I think what they could have done is maybe if they really wanted to get to that point, they should have done what Vachon did. Start a historic collection with reissues. Start with stuff that's affordable, get the ball rolling, and then try to make a $50,000 chronograph. Because look, those chronographs, I know it's technically not the old movement, but it's a tough sell.
Yeah.
It's really nice looking.
Yeah, that dial is just incredible. The handset, the blued hands. It's stunning. Just absolutely stunning.
Like the Comte de Vache looks that Vacheron do.
Yeah. Beautiful. It really is.
Yeah, and it's got a two-tone, which is weird also, right? You don't see that. It's very uncommon to see a two-tone bezel and crown with a white gold on the bottom. Really, really different.
Yeah.
Really interesting combination, that, isn't it?
To me, though, that two-tone stuff kind of like screams AP, right? Like what they're used to doing with sometimes on some the screws are different colors. I think it follows their what they want to do with their brand.
Yeah.
But again, it's right out of the gate, a $50,000 watch. That's
Yeah, it's
Plus,
definitely a bit
yeah.
high. It's no stream. I would prefer, if it was this or the Streamliner from Moser, I would take the Moser any day at the price point.
Yeah, the Moser, I would all look at this point. I guess I'm showing my what brands I prefer, right? But
your bias.
My bias. But like the Moser, or at that price, I'd go and I'd get a Vacheron Conde de Vache also, right? Or, I mean, I think Geezer, I think you're starting to be near paddock territory too, right? If you want that kind of classic chronograph watch, right?
Yeah.
Or a Lange.
Yeah, that money. I mean, you could pick up a 5170, right? From
and Lange, you're right, Thomas. It's it's a beautiful watch, but tough sell.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a gorgeous watch, and yes, it's a limited edition and all, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I think these will sell very well. I mean, I think the collectors, the passionate collectors of AP will. But I think, I know we don't really want to talk about the whole investment potential and all that, but I have a feeling that you may be able to pick these up at a discount down the line. These will really hold value that well. I mean,
it's definitely a very good-looking watch. It's beautiful. I mean, looking at it is just gorgeous. I love that golden band of blue hands. It's just gorgeous.
And I think you're totally right, Geezer. I think you will be able to get them for less than what they retail at some point. But I also think that part of the market, there's a built-in market, because you will also have people that are trying to score points with the AD, right? With the boutique to get that steel AP. So my guess is that they're playing on that as well. It's the same thing as some like that paddock, the less desirable of the Calatrava Pilot, right? Where they still sold a ton because there's some people out there that want to score points. So,
How is this not more desirable than a Royal Oak? My opinion. I like everything they do except the Royal Oak for the most part.
Yeah, the Royal Oak's just established itself, hasn't it, over decades as a design icon, I suppose.
Yeah. Personally, I don't hate the Royal Oak. I think it's a cool watch. I wouldn't spend like $100,000 in a jewelry store just to be able to buy it.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it's the Royal Oak. I like the Royal Oak. I like the Vacheron Overseas, the latest ones. Right. Yeah. And those are watches that if I could get them in good conditions at, let's say, 25% off, right? I might consider them, even though I'm not a big sports watch fan. But I think they're nice. It's just I wouldn't pay like over retail or spend a ton of money just to be able to buy one or buy one in gold.
It's pretty funny how the situation has changed. Because when I picked up my 15400 ST back in 2013, they couldn't give it away. I even got a discount on my 15400. I think I got like 25-30% off retail.
Wow.
Yeah, and obviously now, you just can't get them, right? It's funny how.
Yeah, you're saying it exactly right. It's funny, and it's funny how people don't necessarily realize that, right? Yeah. How it wasn't always that way, and it's not necessarily always going to be that way.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah, I mean, even also the fact that I even managed to get like a discount, and it wasn't even a very like hard negotiations or anything. I just asked for a discount, and they just gave me 25% off.
Never ask.
I think I paid like just over £8,000 for 15,400, and the retail for 15,500s now is close to £20,000 now, right? If I'm not mistaken. I mean, yeah, it's the modern equivalent, I guess, of 15,400.
Yeah.
15,400 is now discontinued, but
and it's funny when you consider those prices, right? How you always get told by the boutiques and the ADs how, oh, like everybody's margin is so low, and it's like
it's all BS.
Yeah, it's not like you didn't spend $100 million on a new movement that you have to recuperate. It's their old movements, their old cases that you modified a little bit, right? And now you're considering that you could get them for a 25% discount when they were half the price.
Yeah.
Right. You're making like 125% more now minimum, plus all the stuff that you have to buy, right, to get on the list and to be considered. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I don't buy into this whole hype into these whole watches and stuff. I know for a fact that because I've kind of experienced it, in that it's all fluff and it's not real. It's all kind of artificially created, if you will. So yeah, I don't want to entertain myself, with that kind of BS.
Yeah, and you see that people get so much into it, right? Yeah. It's like they're like oh, I'm gonna develop this relationship at the AD, and it's funny because the story that Watch Habit told us right earlier this week about how like his relationship with that Rolex AD. That's the kind of relationship you want to have, right? When the AD does something for you, right, and treats you like a client.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to treating like the AD like your client, like you have to wine and dine them, and you got to buy a bunch of stuff. It's like who's who in that relationship?
It just gives me like shivers whenever I see those stories where people say, "Oh yeah, how often shall I visit my AD?" And shall I take a bottle of wine with me and box of chocolate. It's ridiculous. I mean, sure, it's nice to treat them, like a friend or something. But it just seems very bizarre, that relationship.
Yeah, and that guy at the AD is going home at night thinking like, what a bunch of suckers. It's especially the salespeople, right? I imagine that those salespeople have worked in other sales jobs, right? Like either selling cars before or doing something, and that's probably the first time ever that they have their customers basically, on their knees, like asking, "Man, please lick your boots." It's it's very, very weird. I know I've said this many times, and I sound like a broken record, but really, a lot of people are in an abusive relationship with their ADs.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's why I hate certain. I mean, that problem is really bad in London, and I'm sure that the rest of the UK as well, because historically, the UK watch scene has been very, very dry compared to sort of the US market or other sort of major markets. In that, it's been almost impossible for the last few years to find these so-called hot models, right? So you see a lot of people in London literally begging these ADs to sell them, these so-called hot watches, and it just, I don't know, it really makes me cringe. And that's why, and these dealers know that, big groups like, Watches of Switzerland and, all the sister companies that they have, they know that, and they really kind of exploit their customers, because they know they can do that, and because people will kind of entertain this kind of relationship, which I just think is very bizarre. It's not a very good business practice, but
yeah. There was that really rich guy that used to go on Archie's streams that wanted a Daytona and the AD where he spent tons of money, like sold his Daytona to like Lord Sugar or something, and that was so funny, And all I kept thinking is like, you got all this money, you're this actually successful guy. Yeah. You have money, you've got it made, you're on your knees for a Daytona. Yeah. Get on the goddamn plane, go see Kerry Voutilainen. Yeah. Have a real watch made for you, right? It's like
it's a funny world that we live in the world of watches.
Yeah. It's and it's weird because it doesn't happen a lot in other markets. I find that level of like exploitation of that kind of customer that's spending that kind of money. I think it's but plus, a lot of people, it's not all billionaires buying Rolexes, right?
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I really respect the Patek salon in London, because they're very fair. So say if you were to walk in tomorrow and ask for like a steel Nautilus or like an Aquanaut, they're not going to laugh at you like certain dealers in London, but they will be very straight up forward with you and say, listen, this is like the amount of people that we have on the list, and we will be we're happy to take your name and and give you a call when it's your turn. So they're actually very fair, the salon. If you were to go to like a Watches of Switzerland outlet in London, they'll literally laugh at you.
Mm-hmm.
How do they not get smacked in the mouth for that?
Well, I mean, it's not just that.
They do it with more sort of snigger, don't they? It's sort of snigger and look down at this counter,
Still.
Yeah, and but I think you can't. Again, I don't think you can blame some of these ADs, right? Look, a lot of people buying these watches aren't super rich. Yeah. They work hard for their money. Yeah. Why don't you act like you worked hard for your money, right? Like this is important to you. Why do you go and get on your knees and say like, what do I need to do? Like I've heard some of these people say, they go like you said, like develop a relationship with an AD, and they actually go to the AD and it's like, what will I need to do? And they're being told like, oh, you want like a Pepsi? Well, you have to buy like $50,000 worth of jewelry, and you have to get this and you have to get that. Yeah. And like you worked for that money, right? Like go buy a car, right?
or just go gray market and pay the premium, and just be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you wanted that badly.
Yeah, look, I'd rather pay the gray market guy who probably paid over market himself.
Yeah.
Than to play that game and encourage it, right? I know that you're encouraging it either way, but the reality is that by playing into the dealer's games, that's when you're basically assuring that it's going to be a flipper who's going to buy it, and then it's going to go to the gray market, right? I think if you go directly to the gray market, you have less chance of doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, should we wrap her up? Should we call it?
Sure.
Sure.
Musical, yeah.
I got to get stretching my legs here.
Yeah, get some exercise. Get your daily bit of exercise for the day.
Yeah, your quarantine exercise.
Allocated exercise.
Yeah. All right. We'll see everybody tomorrow, I hope.
Yeah, it's been a great stream.
Yeah,
great,
thanks, guys.
great to see everyone.
Take it easy, guys.
Yeah, take it easy. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, everyone.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care.